Hi, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm starting a new reading vlog because, as we all know, here in the book community, in approximately a certain amount of days, insert number here, maybe I might do that, I might not. In a certain amount of days, the Shadow and Bone Netflix show is coming out. It's coming out like sometime next week. I was feeling major FOMO because everybody is so excited for the series. Everybody's read Shadow and Bone and Six of Crows, and I had not. And I was like, wow, I'm so out of the loop and sad because I cannot participate in the hype. So, what did I do? I read the Shadow and Bone trilogy. And I vlogged it. It's basically spoiler free. I don't think I went into any kind of spoiler for any of the first three books. I went in depth about all my thoughts about the books, so yeah. It'll be on the screen or in the description or something if you want to go watch that. However, as a lot of us in the book community also know, the Netflix show has characters from the Six of Crows duology, which is Six of Crows and Crooked Kingdom, I think. I haven't read those. I have absolutely no idea about anything about those books. All I know is the characters' names because I see them over and over and over on Twitter, and there is a hair in my eye and it hurts. So it's still there, can't get it out, I'm just gonna suffer. So my plan was to read the Shadow and Bone trilogy and the Six of Crows duology, so that's where I am now. I'm gonna be reading the Six of Crows duology so that I can be fully ready and prepared for the show. I know that there are other books, and like the Grishaverse, whatever. I know that there's one that literally just came out. Can't tell you what it's called though, because I have no idea. But I don't think the show goes into any of that business. I don't know, maybe it does and I'm still gonna be lost. Who knows? I'm trying my best, okay? I'm trying my best. Like I said, I basically know little to nothing about the Six of Crows duology other than the characters' names. I know that there's Kaz, Inej, I think that they're like a couple or something. There's somebody else, and like a heist or something. I don't know. It sounds like I'm not gonna get it. It sounds like I'm not gonna understand what the fuck is going on, and I'm gonna be confused, and I'm gonna be honest, I just have this like little feeling that I'm not gonna like it. And that scares me. Because if I don't like it, everybody is gonna get mad at me. So that's really great. I don't know. Maybe I'll love it. Maybe it'll be my favorite book of all time. I don't think that's gonna happen. I'm gonna be listening to the audiobook for the majority of my read of these books just because, I don't know, that's what I did with the Shadow and Bone books, and I just liked that format better than actually reading it. It just, I don't know, I liked it better. So yes, without further ado, I'm going to go start Six of Crows, and I will check in with y'all later. Hi. So I'm on like chapter 3. I think I'm like in the middle of chapter 3. Let's see. Let's see how far into chapter 3 I really am. I am almost halfway through chapter 3. Not that that really means anything, but there's that. I was right. I have no idea what the fuck is going on. Like, absolutely none. I tweeted that. I was like, just started reading Six of Crows. What the fuck is happening? And everybody was like, just keep going. That's how it is for everybody. Nobody understands it at the beginning. And I was like, okay. Like, I don't like when books do that. I don't like when, like, you start a book and you have no fucking idea what's going on, and then eventually it starts to make sense. I don't like that. Like, it's just annoying. Like, if I start a book, I would like to, you know, at least have some understanding of what's happening. I had none. So that was cool. Thankfully, Katie from Katie Can't Read, bless her soul, she helped me out. She helped me out a little bit. She gave me some background info that I think was necessary to understand this much of what's happening. Regardless of Katie giving me that background info, that, not even background info, just like simple world info, I guess, that wasn't given to us at the beginning. We were just kind of like dropped in the middle of like some bullshit, which is fine. if some things are explained afterwards, but they weren't, and I'm just like confused. I don't know. Everybody says that they were confused and that's just the way it is. So it's not just me, basically. Like, I was listening to the book and I was like, am I just dumb, or is this how it's supposed to be? It's like, am I just too stupid to like understand this book? I don't think so, but what I've gathered, there's some kind of gang situation. I don't know. Honestly, I need to like go read her message again, because it's already kind of left my brain. There's government, but a lot of the workings of the city are run by gangs. So that's what I've understood. Kaz is one of the leaders of some gang. That's basically it. I don't really like any of the characters so far. I think that Jesper, he's like the comic relief, I guess. And then I think Inej is, I mean, she's fine, I guess. I mean, I don't know. I'm only on chapter 3, so like I don't really know anything about these characters yet to like fully form an opinion on them. But right now, I think my least favorite character is Kaz. I mean, like, in this much of the book that I've read so far, he's my least favorite. Whoa. He's my least favorite character. I just think that he's really extra. And maybe it's because I'm listening to the audiobook. Like, sometimes when the narrator does the voices for the different characters, and they're supposed to be saying something that's kind of serious, it just comes off really, really corny and theatrical, and it's like really hard for me to take seriously. So sometimes Kaz will be saying something like that's supposed to be serious, and I'm just like, no. Don't do that. No, thank you. But I think that's due to the audiobook. So I'm trying not to let the narration of the audiobook affect my reading experience or my opinion of the book. Because I know that if I was solely just reading it physically, like serious lines like that, I would not be reading in my head like corny like that. It would be a little bit more genuine sounding, I guess. I don't know. Whatever. I hope that makes like a little bit of sense. But yeah, I thought Kaz and Inej were like a couple. That's what I was expecting coming into this book. Maybe that happens later. I don't know. That's not even like a spoiler though, because it's everywhere. So I'm assuming that's just like common knowledge. Like I said, I have barely read anything. Who the fuck is Juiced? Jost? Run that back. Jost. Who the fuck? I don't know what that means. Like, I don't know who that is. Apparently he's not important. From what I've gathered on Twitter and stuff, is that he's pretty insignificant. So, like, what's his purpose? You know? What's going on? I don't know. That's pretty much where I am. Not too many thoughts. But I just wanted to come on here anyway to say that I don't know what the fuck is going on. Just because I think that that's a strong feeling that I'm having right now. I would like to try and get at least halfway through it today, just because why not? I don't know. We'll see how the day goes. So yes, I'm going to go read some more, and I will talk to y'all later. Hello, what is up? Baby Yoda is vibing. And we're here to talk about Six of Crows. I'm on chapter 7. I'm on part 2, chapter 7. So, didn't read as much as I wanted to yesterday, which is always what happens. It always happens, but it's okay. It's okay. I do plan on reading a lot today, so hopefully that will actually happen today. But I feel like things are starting to make a little bit more sense. Katie cleared some more things up for me because I am just constantly lost when reading this book, but that's okay. I still think Kaz is extra. That's just that. Jesper, I feel like, has had like little to no screen time. Page time? Yeah. So I don't really have that many opinions about him. I do like Inej's chapters because I feel like when we're in everybody else's chapters, I see like nothing of her. But then when we're in her chapters, I don't know. They're just enjoyable. I like her perspective and I like her point of view. I like her point of view, I think, the best. She just seems like a very genuine character. Nina? Don't know too much about her. I do like her though too. I think she's pretty cool. I like her character. But I'm gonna be honest, I don't really know what the fuck is going on right now. I'm just getting more comfortable with the characters. Right now, they're starting this like hunt, I guess, for this man that created some Grisha drug that makes him like super powerful. That's all that I've gathered so far. pretty much. You know, everybody keeps telling me that it's really gonna make a lot of sense. Like, it's really gonna click, and I'm really gonna get it. But at this point, I feel like, what if that's never gonna happen? Like, what if what's actually gonna happen is I'm just gonna continue to be confused, but I'm just gonna get, like, comfortable being confused? Like I'm gonna get used to being confused. Therefore, I'm going to expect to continue to be confused, and then it's just gonna make sense in that way. I don't think that makes sense. I don't think what I just said makes sense. That was confusing. So I'm now in a chapter with Matthias, and I guess him and Nina have some situation going on. Interested to see where that goes. That's intriguing me. I will say though, even though I'm super confused, don't really know what the hell's going on, I am liking this more than Shadow and Bone. Already. I think this is already more interesting than Shadow and Bone. Shadow and Bone didn't really have anything there. It lacked a lot of substance. And I think that this already has way more substance than Shadow and Bone, even though, like I said, I'm incredibly confused. Yeah, I just think it's a better book already so far. One thing that I did notice and think about was I've read Ninth House by Leigh Bardugo, and that book felt very much like this. Like, I had absolutely no idea what the hell was going on. I was incredibly confused for like the first half of the book. And then we reached like halfway and it clicked and I got it. So I think that's also going to be something that happens with this book. I think that just might be something that Leigh Bardugo likes to do now in her books. Make things really fucking confusing until like halfway, and then you're like, oh, I get it. So I'm waiting for that moment, I guess. But yeah, that's about all I have to say right now. So I'm gonna go read some more, and I will talk to y'all later. Hello, I am almost done with Six of Crows. I have like 2 hours left in the audiobook. I am on the last part. Oh, no, I'm not. I was getting a little ahead of myself there. I'm on part 5. There's 6 parts. I'm on chapter 30. The heist is ensuing. You know, as one does, as a heist usually does, it's going on right now. I can't really say that I care that much about the plot or the heist. Like, I honestly don't really give a shit. I've heard that this book is a lot more character-driven than plot-driven, which is, like, the opposite of Shadow and Bone. But in, like, my opinion, I don't think Shadow and Bone was character-driven or plot-driven. I think it was just kind of driven by, like, I don't know, the side characters. Yeah, I don't really give a fuck about the plot. I don't really care about the heist. It's just not that important to me. The reason why I'm enjoying it... Did I say I was enjoying it? I don't think I did. I'm enjoying it. There you go. But I think the reason why I'm enjoying it is because I do like the characters. They are so much more developed and have, like, way more to them than the characters in Shadow and Bone. Like, it's night and day here with the characters' situation. One thing though, I keep forgetting that they're literally like teenagers. Like, I really keep forgetting that. And that's a big thing with like YA in general. Like, I'll read YA and forget they're teenagers because they don't act like teenagers. Like, they act like they're adults. It's the same thing as like if you watch a TV show, like a teen drama show, like Pretty Little Liars or Gossip Girl or Vampire Diaries, whatever. Those shows, you forget they're in high school. Like, they don't act like they're in high school, you know? They don't act or talk like they're in high school. The things that they're going through in their lives are not usually things that you would assume a teenager's going through. Like, Gossip Girl, like, what teenagers? What teenagers? Please tell me. Like, I know they're, like, super rich teenagers, but, like, is that, like, a whole different breed of teenagers? Because, like... You know what I mean? And not to mention that, obviously, the actors are, like, in their late 20s, 30s. Like, they don't look like teenagers, you know? So it's very easy to forget that you're watching a show about teenagers. But in YA books, all the time, it's like, I forget that I'm reading about teenagers. Like, I recently reread City of Bones, and every time that it was mentioned that Clary was 15, I was like, okay. Like, you would assume that she's at least, like, 18, you know? Not 15. That's like a child. Like, that's so weird to me. I don't know, whatever. So every time it's mentioned in Six of Crows that a character is, like, 16 or 17, I'm like, what the fuck? Like, okay. Doubtful, but okay, you know? But It is what it is. The Kaz and, like, Inej situation, like, this romance is supposed to be kind of, like, ensuing, I guess. I'm gonna be honest, I don't really care about it. I just really don't. I think it's because I don't really care about Kaz. I don't really like his character. I'm sorry. Like, I don't dislike his character. I just don't really care for him. I think he's kind of annoying and kind of extra. But we got a little bit more insight to, like, his past and, like, his backstory and whatever, and that made him, like, I don't know, understand him more. But I still feel like, I don't know, I just don't really care about him. I'm hoping that the second book develops Kaz more and, like, his relationship with Inej, and that becomes more of a thing. That way I can, like, care a little bit more. I don't really know, but, I mean, like, he's fine. Sometimes I just think he's a little extra. Like, some of the things he says, I'm just like, bro, thank you. Let's move on. In my humble opinion, I think that Matthias and Nina are carrying this book for sure. At least they were in, like, the first half. Now, their situation has kind of just been, like, shoved under the rug. Like, let's go back to that, you know? Like, I'll be reading and then, like, all this shit's happening with, like, the heist and whatever, and I don't really care, and I'm just, like, waiting for more, like, character interactions. So I am enjoying this much more than Shadow and Bone, in the sense that, like I said, the characters I think are done a lot better, but I still don't really care about the plot or the story, so I'm not going to be like, oh my god, this is so good. Like, I don't feel like that about this book, but, like I said, I do like it more than Shadow and Bone, because I like the characters, so I do have something to look forward to. Like, I am enjoying the book. I do want to know how it ends. I do want to read the second book because I want to see what happens to the characters. If I had to rate this book right now, I'd probably rate it, like, between 3.5 to 4 stars. If I wasn't comparing it to Shadow and Bone, I'd honestly probably rate it 3 stars. But because I am comparing it to Shadow and Bone, and I gave Shadow and Bone 3 stars, and I'm liking this more than Shadow and Bone, I would give it 3.5 stars. Depending on how the rest of the book plays out and how the ending is, I can see that changing to 4 stars, but yeah, as of right now, I'm sitting on, like, a 3.5. Like I said, I have about 2 hours left in the audiobook, so I'm gonna go read, and I will talk to y'all whenever I've finished the book. Hello. Good morning. Somebody is mowing their lawn right next door, so if you can hear that, sorry, but I'm not gonna go tell them to stop. So, can you imagine if I did? If I went on there and I was like, hey, can you, fucking stop mowing your grass? I'm trying to vlog, so maybe you should be a little bit more considerate. So, I finished Six of Crows at, like, 1 in the morning, and I have a lot. I have a lot of thoughts. Let's dive right in to my list that I've made here so I don't forget anything. Let's see. What's first? I wrote, it was good. Nothing really blew me away. And that's accurate. I thought it was good, but nothing really rocked my socks. You know what I mean? Like, I had a good time reading it. Like, I enjoyed the story, I enjoyed the characters and whatever, but I feel like the mass amount of, like, 5-star reviews of this book, and also people that just rave about this book and all the hype around Six of Crows, I was expecting a little bit more, and I didn't get more, so. Like, some things near the end, like, had me a little shook, but, like, just a little, you know? Like, not to the point where my 3.5 was going to turn into a 4. I think a big reason of why I didn't really fall in love with this book or become obsessed with this book like so many other people is because I honestly really only cared about the romances. I didn't care about anything else. Like, honestly, I didn't really give a shit about the plot. I didn't really care about the heist. I thought the heist was honestly kind of cool, like the concept behind it with the Grisha drug and whatever the fuck. But I don't know, just something about the plot, like the way that it was developed, I guess, fell flat for me. I really don't know. I just didn't really give a fuck, though. And the only thing that I really cared about was the romance parts of the book. I will say, though, if I ever reread this book in the future, I do really see myself appreciating more aspects of the story other than just the romance. And I think that in that case, oh my god. So yeah, if I ever reread it, I think that I'll like it more, basically. I think if I did reread it in the future, I probably would give it 4 stars. But, like, obviously I don't know that, so I'm not just gonna give it 4 stars now. I think that the way the story was laid out, how, like, in the beginning everything was really confusing for, like, the first half, honestly, and then in the second half, things started to kind of click together. I think that knowing the context beforehand, if I did a reread in the future, would help me appreciate more aspects of the plot in the story and other characters that weren't involved in any romance. Because I feel like for a lot of this book, I was really confused. And I just didn't really know what the hell was going on. All I knew was that I shipped Matthias and Nina. That's all I knew. I didn't even know really who the fuck Matthias or Nina were. What their purpose really was for like a good chunk there in the book. But I knew that I loved them. And that was it. That was all I knew, and that's what I was rolling with. I was reading for them, okay? Even though everything with the plot and the story for the first half was, like, pretty confusing and, like, kind of ambiguous or whatever, even though the story was like that and I wasn't a big fan of that, I did like, though, how we learned about each character's, like, background and past gradually throughout the story, rather than it all just being given to us when each character is introduced. I did kind of like how we didn't really know who Matthias was or who Nina was, and like what their background was together and what their past was together and why they were like so mad at each other, but like they obviously, you know, had some chemistry there. I like how that wasn't really explained until later in the book. It left me like wanting to read, you know. I was like, I need to figure this out, like I need to know this. That's what I'm saying, I read for them. I am really excited to read Crooked Kingdom. Things at the end of Six of Crows, I mean, I can't really say that I like honestly care that much. In terms of the plot, I don't really care, but regarding each character and like what happens to them, I do really care, so I kind of want to know what happens next. So I'm excited to read Crooked Kingdom, which is, you know, good, because in Shadow and Bone, I really didn't care to read Siege and Storm or Ruin and Rising. I just forced myself to. So I do have a feeling that I'm gonna like Crooked Kingdom more than Six of Crows. I don't know why, I just have that feeling. Like, I'm just getting that vibe that Crooked Kingdom is gonna do it for me, and it's gonna be at least a 4-star. I hope so. I really hope so. I really want to rate a Leigh Bardugo book more than 3 stars. I mean, I gave this one 3.5, so that's more than 3. But, like, I just really want to give a Leigh Bardugo book at least 4. Like, I just really want to, because it's there. It's there. It's just not there enough. Also, I'm sorry, but I do not understand all the Kaz hype. I really don't understand that really at all. Like, maybe I'll grow to love his character more in Crooked Kingdom, but, like, just from him in Six of Crows, I'm not the biggest fan of him. But there's times where I just be like, yes! And then he'd say some shit and I'd be like, no. Back to Matthias and Nina, you know what I mean? Like, that's how I felt. I did kind of feel like the Kaz and Inej, like, stuff was a little forced, in my opinion. Maybe that'll, you know, change. My opinion will change with Crooked Kingdom regarding that issue there. This book feels really strange when you think about it in context with the Shadow and Bone trilogy. It just doesn't feel like it matches. Like, yeah, there's Grisha in the book, and, like, it's in the Grishaverse, but it just doesn't feel like it is. Like, I don't know. But also, I am really excited to see Six of Crows stuff in the show. I'm way more excited for Six of Crows stuff in the show over Shadow and Bone. Like, honestly, the Darkling can go. I don't care. I just want to see Matthias and Nina. That's it. Alright, so my camera is dying. My camera battery is literally flashing and telling me to shut up. So, I did get Crooked Kingdom. I'm gonna go start that once I turn this camera off, and I will check in with y'all when I have something to say about Crooked Kingdom. Okay, so I've been listening to Crooked Kingdom. I am part 2, chapter 5. I'm not really liking how everything that happened at the end of Six of Crows is kind of just being ignored. Like, that is kind of a thing. I'm taking my glasses off. Yeah, I don't really like how some things at the end of Six of Crows are kind of being ignored. Like, obviously I don't want to be too, like, explicit with it, because spoilers, but, like, you know, a situation a certain character was in had me, like, what's gonna happen? This book starts, and we just, like, that all got ignored. I am enjoying this book so far, I think because I'm familiar with the characters, and I kind of like understand what they're doing in this book already because I read Six of Crows. I love Matthias and Nina. They're like, oh my gosh, there's like parts where we're in like Matthias's POV and he's like talking about Nina or thinking about Nina, and I'm like, oh, this is the best. This is why I'm reading this book, for them. It's always for them. I'm at a part where there's like some shit going down and I don't even really fucking know. Like there's just shit going down. And it's like we're doing one thing and then we're doing something else. I feel like there's no resting point. Like it's just been constantly like, we're doing this, now we're doing this, now we're doing that. Like, can they just like have a break and like play a card game or something? Like, can they just do that? I'm only 69 pages in, and I'm like, can we have a break? Like I think that I'm gonna start to really like it. I think once I get, like, halfway, I'm gonna be, like, really invested. I don't know why, I just have that feeling. It's giving me those vibes. I'm here for it, and I hope so. I hope that's what happens. I am going to go read, possibly get to that halfway point, and I will talk to y'all later. Hi, so I have about 4.5 hours left in the audiobook for Crooked Kingdom, and I just want to say that I like this book so much more than Six of Crows. Like, I don't know, I just think that this is a better book. I mean, I don't know, I'm enjoying it a lot more than Six of Crows, I think, because I already have more background information and more context into what is actually going on, versus Six of Crows, you're just confused the entire time, pretty much. I'm also really enjoying the, like, background information that we're getting on each character, you know, that we didn't really get in Six of Crows. Like, we did get background information on the characters, but some of the characters, either we didn't get any background information, or two, it didn't go as in-depth as I had wanted it to go, but it's going that more in-depth in Crooked Kingdom, if that makes sense. Wyland's situation, and, like, his childhood, and, like, that whole issue, that made me so sad. Like, reading about his life and what he went through and, like, with his father and his mom, like, I don't know, I just got so sad. Like, that made me feel really, really sad. I was like, wow, what book am I reading? Like, holy shit, this is really depressing. And, like, I just finished reading a chapter about, like, Inej's past, and, like, oh my god, it was just so sad. Like, things that these characters have had to go through, dude, like, it's just so heartbreaking. I'm sad. I'm sad for them, okay? I'm just sad for them. I'm also liking the background info that we're getting on Jesper's character as well, because in Six of Crows, I honestly didn't really care for Jesper or Wyland as characters. They were just kind of there for me. Like, I didn't really like or dislike them. I was pretty indifferent towards them. But now I actually really like their characters, and I enjoy reading about them. I've really liked learning about, like, their upbringings and their past and stuff. I don't know, I just really like all these characters. Except for Kaz. I think he's an ass. I don't like that man. What's going on plot-wise right now, I am also finding very interesting, and I'm really excited to see what happens. I'm way more intrigued plot-wise this time around than I was in Six of Crows. But yeah, like I said, I have about 4.5 hours left in the audiobook, so I'm probably going to finish it today. And I will talk to y'all when I have my finishing thoughts. Why? Like, that is probably the only thing that I can really say right now, is why. You know, I allow myself to get attached to certain characters, and I just end up sad. I love a good character death. That sounds kind of, like, bad, like, oh, I love death. Like, no, I don't. I just think that when characters die, it can make a better story. It can make a more emotional story, as opposed to every single character having a good ending and happily ever after, or even characters that die and come back to life. That bullshit, I don't like that. It's cheap, and I don't have time for it. So even though I will be the first person to support good old character dying to add some emotion, I'm not gonna support the wrong characters dying, okay? Obviously, I'm not gonna be spoiling anything by, like, stating names here, but Lee Bardugo killed off the wrong character. It wasn't fair. It's not fair. This book, I think, was a lot better than Six of Crows, and out of every single Leigh Bardugo book that I have read, this is my favorite one. Out of the Shadow and Bone trilogy, Six of Crows, Ninth House, Crooked Kingdom is the best one that I've read. And I'm upset. I'm pissed! What kind of ending was that? That was whack. That aside, I guess let's talk about the book. So much shit happened in this book. Like, when I finished it, I honestly kind of forgot, like, a lot of little things that happened in the book, but a lot of things happen in this book. Like, I feel like the plot and, like, the heist in this book, I don't know, it worked better than the first one. It made more sense, and whether that's due to background information that we didn't have in the first one, I'm not too sure, but I just feel like it worked better in this one. I think that, you know, there were things in the first book that happened that I just kind of felt didn't make any fucking sense, like whenever they just acquired a tank. Like, I don't even know, like, what even was that? I ended up giving it 4 stars. I almost gave it 3.5 again, but upon, like, I don't know, thinking about the entire book, like, as a whole and everything that happened, I went ahead and gave it 4 because I liked it better than Six of Crows, so, you know, I gave it 4 stars. Fuck that ending. I'm not pleased with that at all. I'm definitely very excited to see Six of Crows stuff in the Shadow and Bone show. Like, I'm so excited for that. Like, Shadow and Bone can go. Alina who? I don't know. I cannot wait to see Nina and Matthias on the screen. It's gonna be a beautiful moment. I would like to read the other fucking Grisha books, like King of whatever, Scars and something else. I don't know what those are called. I would like to read those at some point. Not now. I need a break from this world and these characters, and especially after that ending, I need to just get away from them and read something else. I'm glad that I read all these books so that I can go into the show with this knowledge. I really don't like watching book to movie adaptations or book to TV adaptations without reading the book or books first. It just bothers me. Like, I'm like, you know what, I'm a reader, so I should be reading this. It's not logical, but it's just the way that I am, unfortunately. I'm stubborn. So yes, I'm so glad that I read these for the show, especially since I loved the Six of Crows duology, like, way more than the Shadow and Bone trilogy. I can't wait to see Nina and Matthias on screen. I love them. I just love them so much. I read for them, okay? I read for them. That's my final conclusion here, is I read for Nina and Matthias, and Nina and Matthias only. Well, there you have it. So that concludes this reading vlog of the Six of Crows duology. Let me know if you've read the duology, what you thought about it, how you feel about that ending, that terrible ending. So yeah, that concludes this video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye!